The e-commerce space is an industry that will be growing for the next decade. But just like almost every other company, Shopify has gotten destroyed over the last year. Going from a large cap company to a medium-sized company, this led many people to feeling confused about if Shopify is actually a buy, especially after this past earnings report. And so in this video, I'm going to share my thoughts about Shopify's Q3 earnings report and conference call and whether or not I'm buying, selling, or holding. But I don't want to waste your time, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Shopify is an e-commerce platform that helps people make it easy to start, run, and grow their own business. The company is building a global commerce operating system along with a growing set of tools and capabilities that enable merchants of all sizes to sell to anyone, anywhere. But Shopify isn't just for people starting a business. This company also provides products for the big companies such as Hyatt Hotels, Whole Foods, and Tesla. So no matter if you're just starting a business or you already have an established business, Shopify has turned out to be a great option. When we look at revenues for the company, analysts estimated the company was going to have $1.3 billion this quarter. Well, the company actually slightly beat those numbers with $1.37 billion, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but given the current market, you are rewarded even if you meet expectations. And Shopify jumped massively because they beat these estimates. In fact, this was a 22% growth year over year, which how many companies are showing over 20% growth in this kind of environment? Now, the revenue is mainly split up between two separate sections, their merchant solutions and their subscription solutions. Their merchant solutions are their largest part of their revenue, and they increased 26% year over year. When I first started looking at Shopify, I heard people talk about how this company could possibly become a $1 trillion company. So I wanted to really see what makes Shopify a company that will grow massively, not only in revenues, but as a brand, because only companies that have an incredible brand become that large. And the primary drivers for the growth we saw this quarter were some of the main reasons I had such great confidence in Shopify to become a massive company. These primary drivers include increases in gross merchandise volume penetration of Shopify Payments, which is how a business accepts much of their online payments, Shopify Capital, which is cash advances and loans for Shopify businesses, Shopify Markets, which helps you manage and expand internationally for global sales, and lastly, the contribution of Deliver, which they focus on the distribution and fulfillment of product orders. So this tells me two very important things. First, as companies who use Shopify sell more and more units using Shopify's products, this will have a massive effect on Shopify's revenue. This is really important because Shopify is known for having the first ever retail ecosystem where basically every part of a company's business can be run by Shopify, from their funding to the payments and to the deliveries. And with a company that has great integration between their systems, businesses will not want to use several different companies to accomplish what Shopify can do all on their platform. But the second thing that I believe is just as important is that because they are vertically integrated, they have a lower amount of risk. And the Shopify fulfillment network is a good example of this. Even if the companies that use Shopify are doing everything right and continue to sell product well, but their orders do not get delivered correctly or in a timely fashion, this will look bad for Shopify. So by eliminating this obstacle, it allows the company to really control what they end up becoming years from now. So their merchant solutions is a great part of their business, but so is their subscription solutions. Each business, no matter the size, can pay a monthly fee, and this plays a significant part in their subscription solutions. Shopify has a variety of products from $9 Lite to the $2,000+ Shopify Plus. And the beautiful thing that I love about this business model is that Shopify helps these smaller businesses so that as they grow, so will their package, which leads to greater revenues for Shopify. And once these businesses get to the top level, their product is so sticky that Shopify can charge higher premiums. And when we look at Shopify Plus, that part of their business generated $35.1 million. So what is going to happen when more companies succeed and move up to the Shopify Plus package and Shopify has pricing power? This could be a very important part of their business moving forward. Now let's look at the EPS, or earnings per share. For Q3, Shopify beat on their EPS in a massive way. So this goes to show that the company really isn't losing as much money as many people expected. But what I think is a good number to look at to see the progression is their gross profits, which is basically the revenues generated minus the cost of revenue. In Q3, Shopify reported adjusted gross profits of $682 million. This is an 11% increase year over year. But I believe the most important metric is the CAGR, or compound annual growth rate, for this gross profit. Their adjusted gross profit CAGR for the past 3 years is 46%. This is a ridiculous number. And what this tells me is that the kind of business that Shopify has will become even more profitable when they begin to focus on the bottom line. That is why this company is so exciting in my opinion. When we think about Shopify's TAM, or total addressable market, it is solid, but I believe that it will be massive over time. I mean, think about the kinds of customers that Shopify has right now and where they will be 5 years from now. Many of these smaller businesses, assuming that they grow, will need to move up in their plans, and that just means more revenue for Shopify. So not only is the TAM going to grow, but I believe that Shopify will actually take more market share as they continue to expand. Now, I want to focus on what I believe is a very key metric when comparing Shopify to their competitors, and that is the GMV, or gross merchandise volume, which I mentioned earlier. They reported an 11% increase to over $46 billion. When you think about some of the biggest companies in the world, they have the opportunity to charge much higher premiums simply because of who they are. You think about a company like Apple, who charges $1,000 for a phone. A decade ago, $1,000 phone sounded ridiculous, and now how many people have it? And so when we think about Shopify and realize that there is so much money that is transacted through Shopify, what is this going to look like a decade from now when Shopify has pricing power and they can take a much higher cut of the revenue? Not only is this going to increase revenues, but their margins are going to be incredible. And this is something that I don't believe many people realize when it comes to Shopify. The company not only has potential to have massive revenue growth, but also grow margins tremendously as well. Now let's talk about the balance sheet. The company currently has $4.9 billion in cash equivalents, and marketable securities, which is much lower than their $7.8 billion that they had at the end of last year. But the important thing to note is that this is coming off of their Deliverr acquisition, so their cash was expected to be lower. That being said, I firmly believe that they are still in a fantastic cash position, and this really is nothing to be nervous about. Plus, going into 2022, the Shopify team admitted that this was going to be an investment year, as they were going to focus on 4 different pieces to help grow their business even more. Those 4 are builder-buyer relationships, going global, going from first sale to full scale, and simplifying logistics. So why does Shopify need to focus on building buyer relationships? This all goes back to what I said before. When you consider the fact that businesses have needed to use multiple companies to operate their business, it can be really difficult to keep track of it all. So Shopify recognizes that if their customers, in this case businesses, aren't happy, then they will leave. And that not only will reduce their monthly recurring revenue, but their merchant revenue as well. The company has focused on 2 key elements in Q3 to improve this relationship. First is Shopify Collabs, which is a community management app that allows merchants to collaborate with creators to promote products to new audiences. Think about how important this is. I believe that we are moving more and more toward people buying products from influencers on social media. There is no question that this could be huge for Shopify, especially given the fact that they are now on basically every single social media platform available. The second element to improve their buyer relationship is the launch of their POS Go. POS stands for point of sale, and this is a mobile device that allows merchants to scan barcodes and accept different payments. Now, I know that there are some other competitors like Square for products like this, but I continue to go back to this idea of only needing one company to help you run your business. I believe that this will be huge for their customers moving forward because of how vertically integrated Shopify is. However, with that said, I do believe that this will take some time to really make a name for itself because of the competition and the simple fact that a product like this is for anyone who doesn't sell by way of e-commerce. But I do believe that this piece of hardware could make these other companies nervous, especially if Shopify continues to add larger businesses to their platform. The second part of the company that they really wanted to invest into was their global expansion. And how they do this is through removing barriers that are preventing Shopify from reaching the international market. Going global is so important, especially for a company like Shopify, because not only does it help them get new customers who are businesses, but those businesses will be able to reach a wider audience, which increases sales. So unlike a normal company where their goal is to get their product to international markets, Shopify benefits in 2 ways: by expanding to new international businesses and also getting their customers' products into new international markets. One of the biggest struggles for a company expanding globally is the issue of taxes, regulations, and foreign exchange risks, and possibly fraud. So Shopify has introduced Shopify Markets Pro. This is a product that allows merchants to enter over 150 markets overnight without the stress that comes with with expanding into international markets. Through this product, merchants now give the buyer opportunity to use local currency, different payment methods, and discounted DHL express shipping rates. And this once again proves that Shopify continues to be for their merchants because they have continued to show that they want their customers' businesses to succeed. But on top of this, they have also launched Shopify Payments into 4 countries, and that adds the Shopify Payments product to 22 countries now. Think about it. Only 22 countries have this product right now. What happens when that number increases to 50 and there are more businesses that use the Shopify payment product? This makes their $1.4 billion revenue look silly in comparison to where they could be in a few years. And that then leads to their third investment, which is focused on helping new businesses get started, which is also known as enabling first sale to full scale. And this is where their Shopify Capital comes in, which is the lending product that I mentioned previously. It was reported that Shopify Capital launched into Australia this past quarter, and that only makes 4 countries. So this product, in my opinion, could be huge a few years from now as more countries get introduced to the product and more of the workforce moves to entrepreneurship, which we have seen growth over the past few years. Now, just in these 4 countries, merchants received $507.6 million in lending for Q3, which is an increase of 29% year over year. So even looking at these numbers for this quarter goes to show that there is tremendous potential in the years to come. The last focus is probably the most expensive, as they are investing billions of dollars into this segment, and that is simplifying their logistics through the Shopify fulfillment network. They recently closed their acquisition with Deliverr in July, and this is going to be a game changer for the company. This gives their customers smart distribution and handling of their inventory while also letting consumers get their products through a fast and reliable delivery. So not only does this give Shopify's customers confidence, but it gives the consumers confidence that these products will be delivered to them in a timely fashion. And this leads to the last part of this fulfillment network, which is Shop Promise. This is a badge that consumers can see, which guarantees specific delivery times for customers of these businesses that Shopify works with. So when I look at Shopify, there is no question that this company is set up for success. Their earnings report was solid, but I believe that it will be nowhere near what the company is going to be able to do years from now. And this is a major reason why I'm a buyer of Shopify. In fact, I shared this on my Patreon when the company was under $30. So if you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.